Okay, so we have 6, we have 7. Any others? We are already doing one of each type, so we'll do 6 and 7. What about the other objectives? Anthony just said 8.
I'll take that.
We do 8.
Right. We have 6, 7, 14. Any others? Negative 3.
12 too. We have an election one.
3. Okay. Any others from the first section or the last section? Mira. 4. 3 and 4. Any others from the last section? Let's start with number 3. When you're doing this work, either put it underneath in that space or get another sheet of paper and do it there. You would be solving these just like a normal problem. Distribute. So we have 36 is less than or equal to 36 plus 12x plus 16 minus 8x. Combine your like terms on the same side. Do whatever it says. 36 plus 16, 12 minus 8. Then start to solve for x. Get rid of the 52 by subtracting it to the other side. And divide both sides by 4. You can either leave it like that, negative 4 is less than or equal to x, reading it that way. But, I'm sorry, that's the way I just read it. But you would need to read it backwards to graph it. X is greater than or equal to negative 4. Or you just take the whole thing and flip it. Make sure your arrow is pointing in the same direction to or away from when you flip it. So right now it's pointing away. You also want it to point away. So x is greater than or equal to negative 4. So that would be a closed circle going to the right. Notice that these are numbered number lines. So as you're doing your work, if you solve and get an answer that doesn't fit on your number line, your answer is probably not right. So double check your work. Question on 3. On 4, combine your like terms on the same side. So 6 minus 1 and 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. Get all your x's on one side, all your constants to the other. How you do that does not matter. I'm going to add 2x over here and subtract 5. So that we have negative 3x is greater than 9. Divide both sides by negative 3. We're dividing by a negative, so your sign is going to change direction. So this would be an open circle at negative 3 going to the left. Questions on that one? For number 6, you're now in your compound inequalities. So you have to know which one is which. If it says or, that's clearly an or inequality. If it does not say or, that's and. So for your or inequalities, you're going to solve those separately. Do this one, then the other one, or vice versa, doesn't matter. So subtract 2 on both sides. Divide both sides by 2. So r is greater than -3. If you want to graph them after you solve them, you can do that. If you want to graph them all at the same time, you can also do that. It does not matter. The other side, I would also be subtracting 2. And then, dividing both sides by 4. At the end, you need an or in between your two answers. Whether if it's like doesn't line up, you can put or and draw arrows, or just rewrite it. Either or is fine. So you should have 2 sets of arrows not facing each other. These should not overlap. So starting at -4, closed circle going to the left. Open circle at -3 going to the right. Questions on that one? Sure. Yes, or box it in. Other questions on that one? For your and inequalities, you're solving that all together simultaneously, trying to get whatever's in the middle by itself. So for this one, we would want to get b by itself, get rid of the 3, subtract it to all the sides. We have -6 is less than or equal to -6b is less than 36. Divide all the sides by -6. Your signs are going to change direction. So we'll have 1 is now greater than or equal to b, which is greater than -6. But we want our final answer least to greatest with less than or equal to. So we're going to take this whole thing and flip it. So -6 is less than b, which is less than or equal to 1. So when you graph this, you should have one line segment is what I meant. Starting at -6, that's open, ending at 1, that's closed, with a line in between. The line segment is what I need to see. If you wanted to draw the arrows to make sure they overlap, you could do that, but I don't need to see that part. Look at just one piece of it. B is less than or equal to 1. And then look at the other side, but read it backwards. B is greater than -6. So the arrows piece, I don't need to see. I do need to see the line segment. So if you don't do that part, you'll be losing points. If also the solving altogether is confusing, you can separate them. Just do the first part, solve that, graph it. Then just do the second part, solve that, graph it, and then find where they overlap. Questions on 7? Mahida.
So like whenever you get an answer and you put it on the graph, do you want to flip it and do it?
That depends on if you divided by negative or not, / what direction the signs are facing. So if this was a +6, instead of a negative, when we divided, we wouldn't have changed the signs. So we wouldn't have flipped it because it's already least to greatest. All right, on the next page. Number 9. As you are graphing your inequalities, if you need color pencils or highlighters, they are back there. Highlighters in the bin, color pencils in the pencil boxes in the colorful tray, as well as rulers. You'll need to be able to figure out, are your lines dashed or solid? Graph it like normal. Start at +3. Your slope is -1. So go up 1, left 1 as many times as possible. Down 1, right 1 as many times as possible. This would be a dashed line, so you don't have to draw little dashes in between. You could just draw arrows at the ends. And then this would be shaded above because it's greater than. So look at your y-intercept, determine which direction that would be. Above is up, so that would be this area right here. If you want to pick a solution point, see if it falls in your shaded area, but then also check it algebraically to make sure it does in fact work. You could do that, you don't have to. Questions on 9? For 12, similar, start at -5. Our slope is 3/2, so go up 3, to the right 2, as many times as possible. This would be a solid line because of the equals underneath. And then this one is also going to be shaded above because it's greater than. So this area right here. If you want to check yourself in your calculator, the steps are on the board, the whiteboard over here. Not over there. Right here. Alright, questions on 12?
We can use this paper out with this?
That's fine. If there's nothing on it, then yes. So you didn't see the paper printer had up. It's just the calculator instructions, the same thing that's on the board. Right, and then on the last page, our system. So I need to be able to see where they overlap. So whether you use 2 different colors, you shade one light, one dark, 2 different line directions, you highlight it over, doesn't matter. I just need to know where they overlap. So somehow make sure I see that information. For 14, this first one would start at 3. The slope is 2, so I can go up 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the left 1 as many times as possible. This would be a solid line. Shaded above. So above in this case would be to the left. And then the other one would start at -3. Slope is -4. We can't go down, so we can go up 4 to the left 1 as many times as possible. This would be a dashed line, also shaded above. So above in this case would be left to the right. So this one only has a small overlapping window. overlapping region, and that's this little area right here. So as long as I can see wherever they're supposed to overlap, you're good. Do we have any other general specific questions? Nicole? I can do that really quickly, yeah. Okay. 13 would be starting at 2, going up 1 to the right 2 as many times as possible, down 1 left 2 as many times as possible. This would be a dashed line, so you could just draw arrows at the end or draw little marks in between, either or. This would be shaded below, so that would be everywhere down here. The other one would start at -1. Slope is +2, so go up 2, right 1 as many times as possible. Down to left 1 as many times as possible. This is a solid line shaded above. So that would be everywhere up here or everywhere to the left. So they overlap here. If you also wanted to check a point for these, you could pick a point that falls in the overlapping shaded, and then double check that it works for both. If it only works for one, that point is not a solution and your graphing may be off. Also use the calculator. Any other last minute questions? Anthony.
Can we do 8?
Mm-mm. Is very similar to 6 though. You would just have things on both sides, or very similar to this one, where you're moving things back and forth. Just do that twice. Other questions? Yes.
For the words, are you going to be doing something to start or like column separately?
Alright, clear off your desk except for your calculator. Go ahead and put your cell phones in a calculator pocket, not on your person, not in your bag.